The Vala Dominion had ruled the stars for nearly 30 millennia. Its banners flew over 1,000 worlds, its fleets drifted like silver blades through every major trade lane, and its senators spoke with the casual arrogance of those who had forgotten the price of power. To them, the galaxy was not a place of cooperation but a hierarchy, those who conquered and those who were conquered. Every new species admitted to their protection was a trophy, another obedient world added to the endless mosaic of servitude. They saw the galaxy not as a family but as a pyramid, and at the top stood the Vala. Humanity had joined the galactic community just 47 years ago. Young, unrefined, too emotional for the Vala's taste but undeniably clever. Humans had spread fast, building colonies in systems others considered marginal. They terraformed worlds too harsh for most species, mined asteroids others thought worthless, and traded as if every transaction was a challenge to prove their worth. The Vala tolerated them. Barely. Humans were small players in the great game of empires, allowed to exist because they were useful. The Vala saw them as a novelty, interesting for their reckless adaptability, irritating for their independence. No one feared them. Not yet. The colony of Eden 4 was one of those quiet human settlements that rarely appeared in galactic news feeds. A peaceful agricultural world orbiting a yellow dwarf star, known for its lush plains, gentle weather, and self-sufficient communities. 12,000 settlers lived there, farmers, engineers, teachers, children. There was no garrison, no fortress, no weapons of note. The humans there believed themselves safe under the protective treaties of the Galactic Council, a collection of species supposedly united to prevent exactly what was about to happen. The first Vala ship appeared without warning. A frigate, sleek and gray, descending from orbit under the pretense of a resource inspection. The commander, High Captain Dresk Varlan, had been ordered to investigate rumors of illegal mining within human territory. He found nothing of the sort. What he did find were humans unarmed, proud, and unimpressed by his threats. He demanded tribute in the name of the Dominion. They refused. When his soldiers attempted to seize the colony's storage depots, the humans resisted not with guns, but with defiance. They stood in front of the landing base, blocking access, shouting that Eden 4 was sovereign human soil. Dresk Varlan had crushed rebellions before. To him, these fragile creatures were beneath notice. He gave the order. It was meant to be a lesson, a swift act of terror to remind humanity of their place. But the soldiers he commanded did not stop with intimidation. They burned crops, shot civilians who resisted, and turned the settlement's central hub into ash. In the chaos, a group of women and children fled to the comm station, attempting to send a distress signal. They didn't make it. The Vala troops fired into the building before it could transmit. The explosion leveled half the district. The screams were caught on internal feeds, later leaked to the galactic net. 12 hours later, the entire colony was gone. The soil was scorched, the atmosphere thick with carbon, the rivers blackened. The Vala commander filed his report, local insurrection suppressed. Collateral minimal. He did not even mention the word civilian. When the first images reached the human networks, the reaction was disbelief. Then grief. Then something deeper, something quiet, heavy, and ancient. The footage showed bodies laid out across a field once used for schooling. Women, children, farmers unarmed. The Vala soldiers had filmed parts of their own assault, laughing, joking, calling the humans soft meat. Someone had uploaded the video as entertainment. It spread faster than any official statement. The Galactic Council convened in emergency session 2 days later. Humanity demanded the arrest of Captain Dresk Varlan and a full investigation into the Eden 4 massacre. The Vala delegation dismissed the charges. Their ambassador spoke with measured calm, a misunderstanding. Regrettable loss of life. An isolated incident. He smiled as he said it. The council murmured, uneasy but unwilling to confront the Dominion. Humans, after all, were newcomers. The Vala were ancient allies, and their fleets kept the trade lanes safe. When the human representative rose to speak, the chamber fell silent. He did not shout. He did not plead. He read the casualty list, 1,874 names. Every name of every woman, man, and child. He read them all, voice steady, expression unreadable. It took hours. No one interrupted. When he finished, he said only one thing: justice. The council voted. The motion failed. Sanctions were deemed disproportionate. The Valor returned to their seats, satisfied. The human delegate stood motionless for a long time, then gathered his documents, turned, and walked out. His aides followed. The translators, the advisors, the guards, all of them. Without a word, they left the council chamber. And across the galaxy, every human delegation did the same. That was the moment the silence began. No human spoke at the next council session. No human ambassador replied to diplomatic channels. Interstellar traders noticed first human freighters vanished from known routes, stations closed, colonies stopped transmitting routine traffic. At first, it seemed like a technical issue. Then entire systems went dark. Asteroid mining operations, research outposts, even orbital relays all went offline. It was as if humanity had collectively decided to vanish. The Valor interpreted it as submission. They are sulking, one senator joked. Let them grieve and they will return to trade soon enough. Another added, perhaps they finally learned their place. The laughter echoed through the chamber halls, but among the neutral species, unease grew. Humans were unpredictable. They were not known for silent obedience. They were people of noise, music, communication, argument. Silence was not natural to them. And yet the silence stretched on. Days became weeks. Weeks became a month. Not one transmission. Not one signal from Earth. Behind the scenes, analysts from dozens of civilizations tried to calculate what was happening. Human encryption networks began to change, protocols rewritten overnight. Access requests from the council were denied. Every open data exchange shut down. The galactic economy felt it first. Human-run shipping lanes accounted for 15% of trade. Prices fluctuated. Shortages began. The Valor mocked them publicly while privately beginning to worry. Earth's orbit, once crowded with civilian traffic, became restricted. No foreign ships were permitted near Sol system space. Probes were intercepted and destroyed without explanation. Long-range sensors detected something unusual: massive industrial output, but no communication. The Valor Intelligence Service filed reports suggesting mobilization. Their Senate dismissed it. Humans do not have the capacity for war on that scale, said one official. They lack discipline. Another replied, they have emotion, not efficiency. The Senate applauded. But in the human colonies that still existed beyond Valor reach, strange things began to occur. Entire shipyards repurposed overnight. Civilian research hubs converted to military design facilities. Asteroid belts once used for mining were cleared of non-human presence. A single coded message circulated through human networks, only 2 words long. Eden remembered. At first, the message was dismissed as an internal memorial project. For 60 days, the stars held their breath. The silence of humanity became a fixture of galactic life, a background void that everyone tried to ignore yet no one could escape. Trade fleets rerouted, diplomats speculated, and military analysts filled their reports with increasingly desperate theories. The Valor Dominion continued to posture, but even within their upper circles, whispers began to grow: rumors of missing ships, strange transmissions, and shadows on the sensors that flickered between coordinates faster than light should allow. It started small. A mining convoy in the Terrell sector sent a distress signal, reporting unidentified contacts approaching at impossible velocity. The fleet cut off mid-transmission. Recovery teams found nothing: no debris, no wreckage, no trace of the ships. The Dominion labeled it an accident. Then it happened again. A Vala patrol fleet, 8 destroyers, and a carrier vanished near the border of former human trade routes. Their last transmission was a garbled sentence, corrupted but partially readable. "They're not ships there," and then static. No one wanted to admit what they already knew. The humans were back, but they didn't come like any fleet before them. There was no declaration of war, no ultimatum, no military buildup visible through standard channels. Instead, they appeared as silence incarnate, no emissions, no transponders, no visible propulsion. Ships that should not exist, moving in ways that violated known physics, leaving nothing behind but the echo of annihilation. Vala scientists struggle to explain the phenomenon. Stealth technology, some said. Quantum displacement, said others. But none could explain how entire armadas could appear and vanish without hyperspace signatures. A Dominion admiral once joked that the humans must have learned to hold their breath between stars. The joke didn't last long. 2 weeks later, his flagship disintegrated in orbit without a shot fired. The Council tried to intervene. Envoys were sent to Earth, but none returned. Automated relays reported no response, only an automated message repeating endlessly in every known galactic language: "Entry denied. Trespass will be met with proportional correction." The wording was chillingly calm, mathematical, devoid of rage. It didn't sound like a threat. It sounded like a law of nature. Vala propaganda ministers did their best to control the narrative. They declared that the Dominion was handling a human insurgency. But even their people stopped believing it when reports of ghost fleets began circulating, silent vessels of black composite, appearing on the edges of star systems only long enough to be seen before disappearing again. They attacked no one at first. They simply observed, recorded, scanned, and vanished. Then, on the 67th day, the first official retaliation began. The Vala world of Isha Prime, a fortress planet with 3 orbital defense grids, detected a mass energy surge. By the time sensors identified the incoming objects, it was already too late. 80 tungsten rods, each the size of a starfighter, fell from high orbit. They struck with pinpoint accuracy. The planetary command center, shipyards, and weapons silos ceased to exist within seconds. There was no fleet, no invasion force, just orbital silence and a whisper of re-entry fire. The attack was traced back to nothing. The Vala Senate convened an emergency meeting. Their intelligence chief delivered a grim assessment: "We are not at war with a fleet. We are at war with a species that no longer recognizes diplomacy." He was dismissed for defeatism. The Senate passed a motion to triple military patrols near human space. 3 days later, half of those patrols stopped transmitting. Across the galaxy, ordinary citizens began to panic. News networks speculated endlessly. The term Deathworlder resurfaced, once used mockingly, now spoken with awe. Alien scholars re-examined old human history. Wars fought over ideology, survival, vengeance. They found patterns. Humans didn't strike first, but when provoked, they ended conflicts completely. What terrified them most wasn't humanity's brutality. It was their restraint. 4 months. The humans had done nothing, letting anger ferment into precision. The Vala tried to hide their losses, but the truth spread through refugee accounts. A merchant captain told of a Vala fleet ambushed near the Darxis belt. The attackers weren't visible, only their weapons were. Projectiles traveling faster than light itself, bending space around them, hitting targets before sensors could register their approach. Survivors said it felt like fighting the concept of inevitability. The captain swore he saw human insignia etched into one of the weapons as his ship fled, a simple Mark II wings and a circle, the ancient emblem of Earth's first orbital agency. Still, humanity made no official statement. No demands, no negotiations. Just systematic erasure. Planet after planet that participated in or supported the Eden 4 massacre fell silent. Government servers corrupted. Manufacturing centers exploded without warning, and communication satellites turned into debris fields. Every time, the pattern repeated: no trace left behind, no human ships recovered, no evidence submitted to the Council. It was as though the universe itself had decided to call those who had killed human women and children. The turning point came with the fall of Kareth Station. It was the Dominion's most fortified border base, home to over 20,000 soldiers and 6 orbital defense rings. It was considered invincible. Its fall took 11 minutes. Witnesses described it as the void opening. Dozens of small human vessels materialized within the station's defense perimeter, ignoring every known physical constraint. They released nothing but silence, no communication, no signals, just motion. The station's automated defenses fired everything they had. Every missile detonated prematurely. Every laser reflected into the void. The next moment, the human ships moved as one, each releasing a single pulse of kinetic energy that shredded Kareth's infrastructure like paper. Then they vanished. The Vala High Command tried to contact Earth again, sending encrypted pleas for truce. No reply. The Dominion attempted to mobilize its Grand Fleet, 5,000 warships gathered in orbit above their capital world. It was the largest armada assembled in generations. It was meant to demonstrate strength. Instead, it became a graveyard. 3 minutes after the fleet reached formation, every ship's reactor went offline. Navigation failed. Communication collapsed. Crew members screamed as their systems reported impossible readings, temperatures dropping below absolute zero, mass sensors detecting non-existent entities aboard their vessels. Before they could even attempt to reactivate their systems, gravity collapsed in localized bursts. Ships imploded into themselves, folding like paper into points of nothingness. No explosion, no debris. Just absence. Across the galaxy, the feed cut in and out as every recorded transmission from the event displayed the same flickering text, embedded into their data stream. Eden avenged, the Vala finally understood. The humans weren't retaliating for resources or politics. They were delivering judgment. The Galactic Council met again in panic. Species that once mocked humanity now begged for mediation. Appeal to them, said the Zethin representative. They are emotional, maybe they will listen. But no one knew how to contact them. Every human communication network was sealed. Their encryption was so advanced that even the most powerful quantum processors couldn't break it. It was as though humanity had built a second galaxy within the first, hidden between signals, where no outsider could reach.